All right, let's refresh this mess and diffuse for volume. Good old water. I'm just gonna go through and hit the areas that got wonky up in my scrunchie. I had surgery yesterday, day before yesterday. Whew. I had dental surgery, but I was really out of it, and I washed my hair before the surgery, so this is like day 3 hair, and I'm gonna refresh it because I did a really light wash with nothing but a little bit of leave-in, and you know, made it easy for me to refresh once I was feeling like it. So I'm just going to hit all the areas, especially up underneath here, that have been pulled straight while in the scrunchie. And I did not, sometimes I comb through first. It does create a little more frizz that way. So today, I decided to wet it first, just like this. And this is nothing but water. Okay, then after I get it sufficiently damp, I'm going to go in with my Xmondo Wave Revival. And this has a nice scent, and it offers just a little bit of hold, and I am quite fond of it, especially when I have done a wash without any hold product. I just used a leave-in, so I'm not really reactivating anything because there was nothing there. So in this case, I will need to create a little hold. So what I do is I use Wave Revival Spray and a little bit of foam. I personally love the Flora and Curl Foam. So, not yay much. I go ahead and get it on both hands. And then I'm going to just go over the areas that really need it. Scrunch it right in. Like that. Looking pretty good. I am going to add one more product, and I don't normally do this, but I've been liking it lately, and I live in a humid area. This is the Ouidad Climate Control Touch-Up Gel. It is quite nice. You don't need much. It's very slippery. I go ahead and rub it through, and I'm just going to gently brush it over those areas that are the frizziest for me when I refresh, which is typically going to be these front money pieces or more damaged pieces, that canopy. Because no matter how well you treat your hair, the environment is going to play a role in damaging that top layer. It's just the way it is. That's why you need to wear sunscreen on your face and your skin, because if you are out and about ever, anything that's out and touching the sun is, you know, the sun touches is going to get damaged in some way. And this certainly includes your hair. Yep, and I'm just going to do a quick flip. feels pretty good. I do like to just get a little more water over the touch-up gel, just so I can, so the inner core of my hair remains pretty dry because I do have very dense hair, but I can feel and hear the water squishing these outer portions, and I like to do that because that's what's going to be seen the most, and I just like to get a little bit of layer of water over the product I'm using because it does tend to activate it a little better. And I did not do any combing through because earlier today I did take it down and use a wide tooth comb and comb through it, so I knew I didn't have any major tangles. All right, so now we're prepped. We're going to diffuse. And you guys know I love volume, so that's what we're going for. All right, I'm going to use my Dyson, and my heat settings for me personally, I go on the Dyson has 3 heat settings. I use the second, and it has 3 power settings or wind volume settings, and I use the second or the first. Today I'm going to use the second heat setting and the first wind volume setting, and I do prefer to pixie. I always start so that I am going to do the best to dry through to my roots, and I'm going to hold it here for about 30 seconds to 1 minute, a little bit in sections. I'll go a little further back, and I'm going to use my hands and everything I can to lift it up and get the root. Now, if you want to turn off your dryer in between, that's fine. You will have less frizz if you do that. I don't mind a little bit of frizz because it adds to the volume. So I'm just gonna go around and around and then lean over and do the crown of my head like this, and I'll come back once I've done this for about 10 minutes. All right, once I have reached this stage where I'm about 85% dry, I'm gonna do something that goes against probably everything you've learned this far about diffusing, if you've learned anything. I'm going to finish diffusing, and I'm going to actually scrunch my hair while I'm diffusing. I know, I'm breaking all the rules, sort of my thing. But this gives great volume, maintains the definition to a certain extent, gives great volume, and breaks the cast all at the same time, and in my opinion, creates less frizz. I know. But you got to do this with low speed, with wind, and at least a little bit of heat for it to work. Okay? Look at that. Look at the difference. I'll hold it way down here so I can feel the heat and just squeeze it. Hold it in there for a second. Sometimes I'll do this with a little bit of hair oil on my hands. I'm definitely going to put June, my favorite oil, on my hand afterwards and do it again. But look at the difference. If you love volume, now I'm not a big, I don't have to have the most defined curls, the best clumped, most defined curls on the internet. But I do enjoy volume. I mean, you know, the higher the hair, the closer to God. You know what I'm saying? I'm Southern. But anyway, I do love the volume. So I am not sad about a little bit of frizz. But honestly, there's not much. There's not. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to flip my head and I'm going to continue the rest of my diffusing, scrunching while I'm diffusing on medium heat, low speed. All right. June. This is my favorite hair oil. I just like to go over my drier areas, which are exactly what I said before. These canopy front areas right in here that get lightened and hit hard by the Florida sun. And my hair, I can feel, I mean, I'm still probably like 95% dry, but it's going to work for today. There we go. All right. And I take my trusty old Conair curly comb, I think it was originally called. It's very old, but they do still sell them. And I just give a little, you can use a pick. This works just like a pick. Just give a little, it's not really a tease, just kind of a poke through the hair to give it a little oomph. Kind of separate some of those clumps and any cast that I did not fully break. Okay. Then trusty old digits. All right. Refreshed. So I didn't mention this earlier, but I use this same method of diffusing on wash day as well. This just happened to be a refresh day, but I do it exactly the same way on wash day, every wash day. I love it. I prefer it. It is my preferred method. Do I occasionally air dry? Yes, especially partially air dry. So when I got to that part where I called it about 85%, and then I went in and diffused and scrunched, sometimes I just stop there and let it air dry. Sometimes I don't scrunch while I'm diffusing and I leave the cast in, throw it in a scarf, and go to bed. If I'm styling at night, when I wake up the next morning, the cast is pretty much gone and it just looks like this. And I might hit it for like a couple of minutes with the diffuser just to poof it up a bit and scrunch it a little and go, shake and go. And sometimes I just shake and go. But this is definitely my preferred diffusing method. People ask me all the time how I get this volume, and this is how I achieve it, and it stays for me all day. I don't have any trouble keeping this volume throughout the day, even into the next day. So anyway, this is it. I hope that was helpful. Have a good one.